Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
Welcome to Pasadena Jewish Temple and Center, PJTC for short. We're delighted that you have joined us in, I hate to say it, I think this might be, is this the last? No, we have one more. We have one more. Yeah, we have one more.
I don't know what they will.
So the penultimate, that's a word I learned in graduate school. The penultimate, which means next to last. Shabbat under the stars this evening, so we'll watch out for some stars later. But in the meantime, we're just really grateful that you're here with us. Everyone seems to be very equally spaced out. I'm not talking about your mental state. I'm talking about how far you are from one another. But it's Shabbat, so you do you. If you want to get spaced out, this is the time to do it. Very democratic, and that's the last political thing I'll say tonight. Just really happy to have you celebrate Shabbat with us. Well, what we're going to be doing as the light fades in the sky, we are going to be welcoming Shabbat as it comes and graces us with its presence, this very special time, the special moment, the special eight. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But so we're going to be raising our voices in song. God willing, you'll be joining us just as best you can. And I don't mean you have to be the best. I mean, you join us with your best. And as we blend those voices together, that's going to sound fantastic.
Awesome.
And so we're going to start by welcoming in angels. There's this tradition that we don't go into Shabbat alone. We have these angels that come in and escort us and bless us and protect us throughout Shabbat. And then we bless them as they go on their way. And that begins on page 13. If you want the words, it's Shalom Aleichem on page 13. מלכי המלכים little bit later this evening, I'm going to be talking about the idea of protection. How do we protect this peace that we are receiving? And one of those ways is to make sure we have light as the lights are going down. And that's why before the sun goes down, we like to light the Shabbat lights, and it's a mitzvah to do so. So we like to say a blessing with that. And I'm going to ask Stephanie and Anne-Marie if you will light the candles and say the blessings for us. Amen. Kol hakavod and Shabbat Shalom. Another way we prepare for this peace that descends upon us is to rise up to meet it. We rise up through song, beginning with a song on page 15 that enjoins us. Let's sing to God. Let's rejoice in our Creator. Let's greet God with gratitude, singing songs of praise. L'chun Ranana, page 15.
L'chun Ranana, Arbaim Shana Akudon Va'omar Amato Elevavem Vehem lo yadu Nishmati ve'api im yavon el menuchati. Page 16. Sing a new song.
We continue to ascend into the holiness of Shabbat. We step off from the Psalms of David into a more recent poem, but it's been around a while. Lecha Dodi, we say when we see Shabbat entering our space, welcome, my beloved. Lecha Dodi. We're going to start on page 22. Page 22. arrived at Shabbat, we're going to say a special psalm just for Shabbat on page 23. Page 23. Well, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's starting to look like a Rosh Hashanah Day 1 Torah service out here. It's amazing. Well, really grateful to have all of you celebrate Shabbat with us. And I want to talk a little bit about Shabbat tonight because it's got special mention in our Torah portion. Also, because you came and because I love you, I'm going to tell you a secret. There are other people who won't find out what the theme of our high holidays this year is until Monday. But you might find out tonight. And I'm going to tell you what that is right after I talk about Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I don't know if I do know. There are some parents here tonight. And this also holds true if you have friends that are younger than you, or if you married someone younger than you. If you married someone older than you, God bless you. But if you've ever tried to share something that meant a lot to you when you were young with someone that it was sort of before their time, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And some things don't hold up, but some things really, really do. And as I was reading through Devarim and had a little sense of deja vu, because in chapter 5, Devarim, in this Torah portion, it reprises the Ten Commandments. And I'm reading through this, and I'm like, this is just like the Ferrari,
Sorry.
thank you, in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And if you haven't seen this film, it does hold up, and I highly recommend. I think it's on Netflix. And so Ferris Bueller is the main character, and his friend named Cameron lives in a very nice place, and his parents own some classic cars. And in this car, in the garage where they keep these classic cars, there is this Ferrari, this 1961 Ferrari that his father has lovingly restored. And Ferris is trying to get Cameron to take it on a day in the town, and Cameron is resistant because he said his father loves this car and never drives it, and it's a 1961, and it has 124 miles on it, not 1,000, 124 miles. And there's all this drama because at the end, when they take it out for the day, and the parking lot attendants take it for a spin, unbeknownst to them, and they bring it back, and they're saying, oh, we're just going to be a few miles over, we'll just run it in reverse and see if that reverses the odometer. It doesn't. But they see that it's now got 300 miles on it. And they're completely panicked because this car was not made to drive. Well, it was, but this car was not kept to drive. It was kept to polish and restore and protect and look at and observe, but never to be taken for a spin. And if you're curious what this has to do with the book of Deuteronomy, we see in the reprise of the Ten Commandments, it says, so Moses is retelling the people who may or may not have been there the last time they heard the Ten Commandments, that you should shamor et yom HaShabbat l'kodsho. You should protect the Sabbath day for its holiness, for its separate nature. And a lot of the rabbis get their kippahs on backwards, and they say, wait a minute, didn't the first time we hear this, back in Exodus chapter 20, it says, Zachor et yom HaShabbat l'kodsho. Remember, or as Maimonides translates it, commemorate the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Make an announcement. It's Shabbat, everybody. And you commemorate it. And the way we fulfill that mitzvah, we'll do a little bit later, is through Kiddush. But 40 years later, when they're retelling the story, they say you should protect the Sabbath day. Now, for the generation just leaving Egypt, they were probably thinking, remember the what? We've been slaves for hundreds of years. You mean there's a day we get to take off? And this is yes, and now you should remember it. And so now that they've been remembering it for 40 years, they say, well, we've remembered the Sabbath day, but man, in the wilderness, one day just starts looking like another. Right? I'm still wearing the same, I only own one shirt, so I'm still wearing the same shirt I was wearing the other day. And this bit of wilderness looks like the bit of wilderness I saw yesterday. So you can see where over the course of 40 years, they might have kind of let it get dull. Right? They might not have been able to distinguish the Sabbath day from another. And so perhaps that's why when Moses, who knows these folks by now, says, what you should do is make sure you protect the Sabbath day. Some poor translations say observe it. Like, look, it's over there. It's like a classic Ferrari. I'm going to observe the Shabbat, the Sabbath day. But no, it's to, shamor means to protect, to guard. And from this imperative verb to guard is where we derive all of our negative commandments, meaning our prohibitions of Shabbat. Don't do this, don't do that, don't light a fire, don't go to work, don't trade Bitcoin. They didn't do that back then. But it's all the don'ts. It's the kinds of things that make people today say, wait a minute, I thought Shabbat was a day of rest. Here's all these things to make it harder. But the idea is that in order to get the most out of it, in order to experience its holiness, you have to make sure that it doesn't feel like the other days. You have to protect it so that you can take full advantage of it. And so this high holiday time, when we're looking back and we're looking forward, but we're also trying to figure out what now is. The cantor and I were discussing this a couple months ago, I guess, at this point. We thought, what is special about this season? Uniquely to this year. And uniquely this year, more so than last year, and probably more so than next year, this feels like an Eid Chadash. This feels like a new season, a different kind of season. Because we are emerging from isolation in various forms into a new possibility of connectedness, but only if we take advantage of this moment. See the word eight, there's a lot of words for Hebrew, a lot of words for Hebrew in Hebrew. There's the French have a word for everything. There's a lot of words for time in Hebrew. There's sha'ah, what time is it? There is man, like it's lunchtime. But the word eight has a special place. This is the word that Kohelet uses when Kohelet tells us there is a season, there is a time for every purpose under heaven. There's a time to laugh, a time to cry. There's a time to call, a time to be silent, and there's a time to wail. And there is a time to dance. And it keeps using this word eight. So what is an eight? It says it's not just like the time on your watch or the time for your lunch. An eight is a discrete time, a time with beginning and end that you have to be present for, or you will miss it. It's this moment of opportunity. And I think that is the point that Cameron's dad missed when he was shining his Ferrari. He did everything he could to protect it, but never drive it. But that's not what God wants us to do with Shabbat. God wants us to take full advantage of the fact that we're free people. And that's so important that we need to protect that right, protect that opportunity, push away anything that might interfere with it. But we can't just polish the Ferrari. We can't just say, here's what you don't do. We can't just put up fences with nothing in between that it's guarding. We protect the Sabbath day so that we can take full advantage of it. We get 25 hours every single week to remind us that the world is pretty amazing as it is, that we are pretty amazing as we are, that our loved ones are so precious to us as they are. And we need to protect this time, because if we don't, we might just miss our moment. So this is a theme that we'll be talking about more as we approach the high holidays. How do you prepare in the month of Elul? How do you put fences around that time? But all the more so, how do you bring your whole self to be present in that moment and not miss it? So tonight, I am all the more grateful, whether you got here in a classic Ferrari or by a ride share, or you flew in on a peacock. I'm grateful that you could land in this moment of Shabbat, and I bless you and encourage you to take full advantage of it. Shabbat Shalom, and thank you for being with us here at PJTC. We are going to move now to our blessings for the evening, starting with our call to blessing. In the very beginning, the Baruch. It's on page 28, and I'll encourage you to rise in all the ways in which you're able. For the Baruch on page 28.
Baruch Adonai Haborach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Haborach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Haborach Leolam Vaed.
Uma'avir yom, u'mevi layla, u'madil ben yom u'ben layla, Adonai Tzevaot Shemo, al hai v'kayam, tamid imo aleinu, le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Shemo.
Ha'ma'ariv ha'ravim.
Amen. Shkach.
The constancy of love your people Israel, teaching us Torah and mitzvot. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down to sleep and when we rise, we shall think of the constancy of your love. Page 29, Ahavat Olam.
A little bit of a different melody for tonight. A melody that brings us back almost a year ago to High Holidays when I introduced this new version of Ahavat Olam. I don't know if you're going to remember it, but just take a moment, take an it to lean on the vibrations of this melody.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael,
Amachavta,
Torah u'mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta.
We repeat that together from the beginning.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amachavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta.
Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, V'shochreinu v'kumeinu, Nasiach v'chukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, ובמצוותיך לעולם
Ahavat
אהבת
Olam, Beit Yisrael, Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta.
ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני,
Baruch Shemo.
אוהב עמו ישראל.
Amen.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu,
Adonai Echad.
ואהבת
את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. We continue on the middle of page 30 at your own pace. We'll get back together in just a moment. I need your help. My voice is bad tonight. Just join me for 31 for Vayomer. If you like, we can join together on page 31. Page 31. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el bnei Yisrael, v'amarta alehem, v'asu lahem tzitzit, al kanfei bigdeihem ledorotam, v'natnu al tzitzit hakanaf betil techelet, v'haya lachem letzitzit, uritem oto, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם, ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריכם, למען תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני
אלוהיכם,
אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. באמונה כל זאת. We're on page 32. Page 32, we bless God for illuminating our lives, for the constancy of God's love. Now we bless God as a Redeemer who hears us when we cry and answers us when we call. Who else can do that for us? Adonai
את חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה, אדוני,
Baruch Shemo.
גאל ישראל.
Amen. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace and awaken us again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us the shelter of your peace and guide us with your good counsel. Page 33, page 33.
People. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, לשלום, ועמיננו מגנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. Together.
And the people Israel shall observe Shabbat and protect Shabbat to maintain it as an everlasting covenant throughout all generations. Page 34, page 34.
V'shameru
b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם כברית עולם. אוי 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 ביני ובין בני
ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
ואלמד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי,
ויכון וביום יכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה, ובזמן קריב
וימרו.
אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם לעולמי עלמיה יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה לשמי הקדושה.
בריחו
לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה.
ושבחתה ונחמתה, נמירה וימה.
וימרו.
Amen. We're invited to rise for the private Amidah for Shabbat evening. If you want to stick to the words from our tradition on the page, they're on page 35b. We'll make room for your personal prayers. We'll all get back together in just a few moments. conclude our personal prayers with the Kaddish Shalem on page 28, 48, page 48.
יתקבל ויתקדש שמר רבו.
Amen.
ואלמודי ורחרותי וימליך מלכותה וחי יכונו ומכונו חי לכל בית ישראל. והגלה בזמן קריב וימרו.
Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach, Leolam Leolam Me'almaya, Yitbarach.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרום ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי דקודשה.
בריחו.
לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירם בלמה וימרו.
Amen.
יתקבל צלותון ואותון לכל ישראל קודם אבוהון דבישמעיה וימרו.
Amen.
יהי שלום הרע משמעיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל וימרו.
Amen. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל וימרו. Amen.
Cantor Ruth, I apologize. I almost took us back to the Baruch Hu there on page 28. Then we would be here for another half hour. So can't roll back the odometer on that one. We're going to remember that the world we want to see all, it's our responsibility. It's on us. Aleinu on page 51. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשינו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם את חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עוונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך ומלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שאלות השמיים. על כן נקווה לך אדוני אלוהינו ירד ונקדיש כי המלכות שלך היא ולעולמי עד תמלוך בכבוד ככתוב את תורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
Before we conclude our service, it's appropriate that we pause and remember with honor those who are no longer with us. Here at PJTC this week, we're marking the yahrzeit, and that is the anniversaries of the passing of several people, including Doris Becker, Arthur Berman, Leonard Black, Samuel Brenner, Harold Karsh, Samuel Haight, Michael Clemens, Debbie Dinocente, Bessie Dorman, Theodore Abbott Epstein, Eugene Galindo, Alan Gross, Allison Heath, James Hogan, Herman Lane, Steve Leonard, Jacob Levin, Lillian Levine, Rose and Harry Lipser, Susan Lowitz, Florence Jaslow Mandel, Gary Michael Rabins, Ida Rimsky, Zelda Rosenberg, Philip Safman, Grace Schiffman, Samuel Schiffman, Annette Selig, Samuel Taylor, Esther and Irvin Vigo, Raymond Walter, and Edward Weiss. Is there anybody I forgot? Didn't make the list. If there's anybody else that you'd like to lift up their name for honor, please say that name out loud wherever you are, or hold that name in your heart. I also should announce that Michelle Leonard lost her mother, I believe.
Yes, well,
We send out an announcement, the funeral, look for your emails about the funeral announcements, but just wanted to let you know to be thinking about the Leonard family. I'll ask anyone who is in mourning for anyone or marking a yard site to please rise, and all together we'll say the Kaddish Tome, the Mourner's Kaddish on page 52. Page 52. Yitgadal, Yitgadash, Shemei Rabbah, Ma'ama, Divra, Kirute, V'yamlik, Malchute, V'chayechon, V'yomechon, V'chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, Uvizman, Kariv, V'imru, Amen. Yehe Shmei Rabba Mevorach, Leolam, Lamei Almaya, Yitbarak, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitramam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitale, V'yitalal, Shmei Dekudsha, Rihu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechmata, damiran bi'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Now I'll ask everyone to rise and join them as we close our service how we began, and that's a beautiful, beautiful song. And make sure you stick around for Kiddush too, would you please? Sticking around for Kiddush. We've got some juice and bread over there, but we've also got some juice and bread over there. So feel free to grab a glass of juice or wine if you're at home. Whatever it is you celebrate with is okay. Meet us right back here. Check out all the great stuff we've got going on here at PJTC. Will you please? And watch the skies on Monday for our high holidays information coming out.
if you can, you guys have a glass of a little something? Let's join together for Kiddush. ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר יום השישי, ויחולו השמיים והארץ, וכל צבם, ויצא אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם,
אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ונצבנו, ושבת קודשו באהבה ורצון הנה לנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תהילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנהלתנו.
ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך שמו
מקדש השבת.
אמן. All right, those at home who wish to wash, wash as you wish. I'll do a Netilat Yadayim for everybody here. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim.
Amen. And last but not least, woo! Chala moment. Let's join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz v'te'ah. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Good Shabbos, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.